This episode is brought to you by Darkling. Darkling makes it faster and easier to log into all your online accounts securely by safely storing and encrypting complex passwords. Go to Darkling.com/simplehistory or click the link in the description below to get Darkling Premium and get 10% off for 1 year of Darkling Premium with the discount code SimpleHistory. Operation Nimrod. The Iranian Embassy Siege, 1980. Location: the Iranian Embassy, South Kensington, London. Day 6. British opinion was right on the spot. On May 5th, the 6th day of the siege, things suddenly got worse as Owen began to be more and more suspicious about noises that had come from the Ethiopian embassy and the bricks that had moved in the wall. Owen started to think that the police were preparing to attack them. His suspicions grew bigger as no Arab mediator appeared to begin negotiations. At 1300 hours, the BBC radio broadcast the news that there was still no agreement on which Arab ambassador would lead the negotiations, and Owen realized he was being bluffed. He picked up the phone and told police negotiator Vernon that they had 45 minutes to bring the ambassador, or a hostage would die. At 1345 hours, 3 shots were heard from inside the embassy. As Cobra was informed of the situation, they gave the order for the SAS teams to prepare the assault. At 1700 hours, the commander of the 22 SAS, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Rose, informed that 2 SAS teams were ready to assault the embassy. At 1820 hours, police attempted to make another contact with the terrorists through the imam from the local mosque. During the conversation, another 3 shots were heard, after which the front door was opened and a body was dumped onto the steps. It was the body of Abbas Lavasani, the chief press officer and a zealous supporter of the Islamic Revolution. Lavasani was killed at 1345, while the latest shots were only a bluff. Owen informed the police that the next hostage would die in 45 minutes. Lavasani's death meant the police's job had ended and that SAS would take over the operation. Afterwards, Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher approved the assault, and Inspector Dello officially handed over control to Lieutenant Colonel Rose at 1907 hours. Planning the assault. The successful police negotiations that had lasted for 5 days had allowed the SAS teams to devise a detailed plan for assaulting the embassy. At the beginning, they used a scale model of the first and second floor made by police carpenters to plan the attack. Both planning and training were taken to a higher level once the pioneer company of the Irish Guards were engaged to build a life-size replica of all floors. This ensured the assault was planned to every minute detail. It anticipated the simultaneous assault both by blue and red teams, a total of 32 men. Those in blue team were responsible for assaulting the basement, ground floor, and the first floor, whilst those in the red team took the top 3 floors. It was of greatest importance for all teams to attack the assigned floors exactly at the same time. They were to clear the floors in the shortest possible amount of time so that the terrorists would not have time to respond. Blue and red team had the standard SAS weapons and equipment designed for the counter-terrorists operations. They were dressed in black assault suits, for which the SAS later became famous for. The upper body was protected with custom body armor with high-velocity plates. The head was covered by a gray flash hood under which a standard Army S6 gas mask was worn. Each man had a radio with a headset and built-in microphone to maintain constant communication. In the assault on the Iranian embassy, the SAS soldiers were armed with Heckler & Koch MP5A3 submachine guns with a flashlight mounted on top, Browning 9mm high-powered pistols, and G60 stun grenades. MP5Ks and MP5SDs were also used as there were not enough MP5A3s to equip all of the assaulters. Apart from submachine guns, Remington 870 pump-action shotguns and sledgehammers were carried to blow off the door hinges and locks. And frame charges were carried to breach the windows. Assault. In 1923 hours, assault teams received the code word Hyde Park, which signaled the abseilers to hitch their ropes. It was followed by another code word, London Bridge, the signal to start the attack. The assault would begin with a diversionary explosion of the skylight, and the red and blue team attacks were intended to happen simultaneously. Team 1 of red team came through the blown-off skylights to clear the 3rd and 4th floors. They had the easiest task as both floors were clear of terrorist presence. Team 2, also of the red team, abseiled from the roof down to the rear of the building to the second floor. As they were coming down, the team leader got stuck on his harness. As the other men tried to help him, one of them accidentally broke a window, therefore alerting the terrorists. Team 2 was supposed to wait for the explosion, but the course of the events forced them to enter the building before they had planned to. To the misfortune of the entangled team leader, the curtains had caught on fire and began to burn him through the broken window. He suffered some burns but somehow managed to evade serious injuries. The second abseiling team released him by dropping him to the second-floor balcony. With painful burns, the team leader entered the building. Just as Team 2 went in, they realized that the terrorists had barricaded themselves and hostages in. Explosions and the broken glass alerted the terrorists, who began shooting at the male hostages held in the telex room. Before the SAS came in, the terrorists had shot 3 hostages, of which one had died instantly. Sergeant Tommy Palmer was trying to find another way in when he noticed a terrorist trying to set fire to the room. Palmer's gun jammed, but when the terrorist fired his pistol, he missed. The terrorist then ran into the telex room, but was shot dead as he was pulling a grenade out. Another terrorist was shot dead right there in the room, while one managed to disguise himself amongst the hostages. In the nearby cipher room, the SAS released female hostages and took them along with the others to the backyard. They threw the male hostages from soldier to soldier to ensure that the remaining terrorists didn't have time to act aggressively. As they were coming down the stairs filled with CS gas, one SAS soldier noticed the concealed terrorist, pushed him down the stairs, after which another SAS soldier shot him dead. 3 to 4 magazines were emptied into him to ensure he was dead. It was a good shot since the terrorist was holding a grenade in his hand ready to activate it. As Teams 1 and 2 were sweeping the top floors, Team 3 from the blue team assaulted the first floor via the balcony, which they climbed onto from the adjacent building. Lance Corporal MacLeod, holding a frame charge, shouted at the hostage Sim Harris to move out of the way. They blew off the window and stormed in after they threw in flashbang grenades. It was more than 2 minutes after the red team entered the building. As they rushed through the first floor rooms, they bumped into Owen wrestling with Police Constable Locke. Once Locke realized the assault was on, he took his concealed revolver and attacked Owen. Then the door flew open and a voice shouted, "Trevor, get away!" Then Owen was shot dead by one of the SAS soldiers. Another terrorist was spotted by the ambassador's office. He was wounded by one SAS soldier and shot dead when he lifted his pistol. Team 4 and Team 5 entered the building from the rear by slamming the ground floor French doors leading to the library. Their task of clearing the ground floor and cellar went smoothly as they found neither terrorists nor hostages. As the fire began to rage through the building, all hostages were taken through the library to the backyard. There, they were all bound with cable ties as one terrorist was still among them. He was ultimately recognized by Sim Harris and taken away by the SAS soldiers. The clock showed 1940 hours. In just 17 minutes, the SAS managed to kill 5 terrorists, capture 1, and release 19 out of the 20 hostages. Only 1 hostage was killed during the assault. He and the previously killed Abbas al-Avasani were the only hostage fatalities of the crisis. Once the operation was over and the hostages were secured, firefighters began putting out the fire. Then the control over the crisis was passed back from the Army to the Metropolitan Police. The whole operation was broadcasted live and allowed the public to witness the bravery, professionalism, and high level of readiness by the SAS. By that time, the unit was relatively unknown outside military circles. After the Iranian embassy crisis, all eyes were on them, and the number of new applicants wanting to join the SAS surged dramatically. From that period on, the SAS became known as a superb counter-terrorist unit. This episode was brought to you by Dashlane. Dashlane makes it faster and easier to log into all your online accounts securely by safely storing and encrypting complex passwords. Don't waste time remembering passwords and details. With Dashlane, you can fill in forms fast with one-click logins and autofill for personal info and payment details. It works everywhere on every device across all platforms and operating systems. On top of this, the built-in VPN strengthens your security when browsing. Respond quickly to data breaches with personalized security alerts. Not even Dashlane can see your data. It's decrypted locally on your device. Shopping for that deal that's ending soon? Instantly log in and fill out addresses and payment details in just a click. Traveling? With Dashlane, there's no need to struggle remembering a password on the move, and you can book flights and hotels easily by autofilling everything from your address and credit card to your passport number. Dashlane has 11+ million users in 180 countries and is endorsed by the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Fast Company, Forbes, Wired, and more. It's top-rated on the iOS App Store, and it's recommended by both Apple and Google. Go to dashlane.com/simplehistory or click the link in the description below to get Dashlane Premium and get 10% off for 1 year of Dashlane Premium with the discount code SimpleHistory.